Hi guys, today we're going to do percent copper in post-1982 penny. So the goal of this lab is to determine what percent of this penny is copper. So we know pennies before 1982 were made mostly out of copper, but in 1982 it was too expensive. It cost more than a penny to make a penny, and so they made it out of zinc and with a very thin coating of copper on the outside. So we want to know what percent of this penny is copper. So let's read the procedure together and we're going to do it. So it says obtain a penny dated 1983 or later. The penny should be relatively clean. So this is a penny, I don't know if you can see, from 1989. Measure the mass of the penny. So we're going to go ahead and mass it. Okay, so go ahead and record the mass down. Step number 3 says, score the sides of the penny with a file. Note the color of the penny at the sides of scoring. So we're going to take a file and we're going to score our penny. Here. And I'm going to score all sides of the penny. So with a file, I'm going to set it on the table and score the 4 different sides. Okay, so this is what it should look like when you score it. You are basically removing a tiny bit of the copper from the outside. So you see the silver color of the zinc inside here. Step number 4 says, with a graduated cylinder, measure out 4 milliliters of 3 molar hydrochloric acid. So this is my 3 molar HCl. So I'm going to measure 40 milliliters of it. And it doesn't say exactly 40 milliliters, so it is okay if it's not exactly 40. So I would like you to measure this. So the 40 line is right there. So you went a little over, but that's okay. Just record down what the exact volume is that we measured. Okay, next it says, place both the penny and the 40 milliliter of hydrochloric acid in the beaker. Make observations of any changes that you see and form at least one conclusion from these observations. Cover the beaker with a clean watch glass and carefully place the beaker in the chemical hood. Mark the watch glass with your initials using a permanent marker. And then we're going to put all equipment away and clean our lab station. So we are going to place our penny in a beaker, and then we're going to add our hydrochloric acid, and we want to make some observations. So let's get close to it. Hopefully you can see some things happening there. And so I'm going to place this in the hood to react overnight. And I'm going to cover it with a watch glass. And then we'll come back tomorrow and look at what happens. So our penny has been sitting in the hood overnight. Let's take a look at it. Make your observations. Looks a little different. Okay, and let's read day 2 procedure. It says, obtain your beaker from the chemical hood. Using forceps, gently remove the penny from the solution. Do not pour the solution down the sink. You'll dispose of it in step 10. Then we're going to gently wash the penny with small amounts of water and carefully pat it dry. So I'm going to go ahead and use forceps to remove my penny. Oh, it's pretty delicate. Let me set this down so I can grab it. There we go. We're going to wash it with small amounts of water. And then we're going to pat it dry. Once you wash it with water, you can handle it with your hands. We're just washing it with water because there might be some excess HCl in there that we don't want to get on our hands. And you can see it's pretty delicate. It looks like it's just the empty shell. So what actually happened is we scored it so that the HCl could react with the zinc, and HCl doesn't really react with copper, it only reacts with zinc. So the HCl reacted with the zinc, so there's no more zinc inside. It's just the copper shell, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we patted it dry. Next it says, ask your teacher to put some acetone on your penny and carefully pat it dry again. So here's my acetone. I'm going to pour some. Acetone is pretty volatile. That means it evaporates pretty easily. So the point of this is just to get it to dry a little bit faster. And we're going to pat it dry again. Okay. Next up, it says, make observations about your penny. Place the penny on a watch glass marked with your initials and place it in the drying oven. So we're going to take our penny and we're going to put it on a watch glass and we're going to put it in the drying oven. The reason for that is because even though we pat it dry, there's still some moisture on it. And so we want to make sure that it's completely dry. So our drying oven is right here. And we're going to go ahead and open it and place our penny with the watch glass in there. We're going to leave it for a while to let it dry, and we'll go back to our procedures. And it's going to take about 10 or 15 minutes to dry there. It says in step 11, neutralize any remaining acid in the reaction solution by placing 2 scoopulafuls of baking soda into the beaker. Pour the acid solution in the beaker labeled HCl waste in the chemical hood. Wash your beaker. So there is leftover HCl in here. We don't want to pour it down the sink because the pipes are made of metal and acids react with metals. So before we pour it down, we're going to neutralize it. Baking soda is a base, so we're going to pour some of that base into the acid. And you'll see that it is bubbling. So I'm going to keep doing that until it stops bubbling. Then I will dispose of it and clean my beaker. And in about 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so, I'm going to take out my penny from the oven and we'll mass it together. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes or so that it's been in the oven. I'm going to go ahead and take it out. And the watch glass, it's pretty hot, but the penny itself should be cool enough to touch. So I'm going to go ahead and mass it. And here's the mass that we are left with. And so based on the final mass and the initial mass, you can calculate the % copper in the penny. Have a great day.